What is up, my boo-boo patooties? We're here for our weekend reading. Shabbat Shalom. How is everybody? I am wonderful. I did not have to work tonight, so it's a Shabbat for me, which I always love. I think that when it is possible to align that day of rest and spiritual reflection with the actual window in time that is Shabbat. So it's actually an open portal where we can connect to this higher quality of like a direct connection to the light in where the veil is less thin, and it is also not so jolting for us to experience. A gentle exposure, if you will. So yeah, it's really good, and it also is set up to ground you and renew you every week. And so if you can do it during the time period of Friday night at sunset all the way to Saturday at sunset, those 24 hours should be focused on rest and study and meaningful connections and nurturing your relationships. So there you go, in relationship with spirit. I mean, and you know, depending on how strict or orthodox you are, sometimes that means you don't use devices. Sometimes that means you're not even allowed to use electricity. For me, it's doing my best to not toil and labor and use the day for sacred things. And I always notice that there is, when I allow for time to reflect during Shabbat, I have like really amazing epiphanies and breakthroughs that come through. So, Shabbat Shalom. Okay, so our extended reading from today's blog, which you can find at Liz_Taylor_Magick on Instagram. You can go follow me there. And I post Monday, Wednesday, Friday, like midday, about the readings that we do here in the video form. So if you want a head start, you can find me there and you'll see these before you see the video. While we're talking shop, like this video if you enjoy my content, and subscribe to my channel, and throw a comment down below or an emoji or whatever. Any little action that you take on these videos or for anybody's videos, it gets their videos and their message and their channel out into the algorithm, and it helps other people find my content. So thank you for all your help there. And as well, there are links in the description box below. A lot of times there are additional notes and thoughts after the video that I choose to include. And then there are also links to my Venmo and PayPal if you want to support my work. All right, let's get started. Thank you for sitting through that. I always forget to do the call to action moment, and I just get caught up in the fun of it and just forget all about it. But I figure y'all know how to use the internet by now, right? So, oh, that reminds me. I think I know where I'm losing a lot of engagement here, people. I'm on to you. I need y'all to learn your login information for YouTube, because I know what's happening. You're following links and you're not logged in, and so you can't like or comment unless you're logged in, and you don't know your login information. So after I have learned all of this, and I show it for you on a daily basis, what I'm asking you to do now is just learn your fucking password to YouTube, log in, like this video, comment, emoji, subscribe, and nobody gets hurt. All right, let's get on with the reading. Swipe, fade. Imagine a transition there. Okay, so from the Vintage Wisdom Oracle deck, we've had like a whole slew of cards fall out like this week. Much more in bunches than I usually pull. So it's like a million cards came out for our daily reading. But these are really more than daily readings. It's like an ongoing story or telenovela, however you want to look at it. But so a lot of cards have come out this week, so I hope it's not getting overwhelming to y'all, but I think you're getting how the story's unfolding. So for the weekend, out of the Vintage Wisdom Oracle, we had centering come up, followed by celebration, followed by listening, followed by abundance, and then underneath centering, we got Ace of Swords. Under celebration, we got King of Wands, followed by King of Pentacles under listening, but specifically in the tarot, Mystical Moments Tarot, there are female representation of the kings and some of the other prominent male face cards. And this is one of them. And so this is the feminine King of Pentacles. And below abundance, we got Seven of Wands. I just love all of the artwork represented here. I was tempted to use the tarot, the Dreaming Way tarot today, and maybe even a different oracle, but for some reason I was just really compelled to use these two decks because of the artwork, which I see now why. So to start, we got, and don't worry, I will include the photo for today at the end of the video so you can like kind of pause the video and see the layout really well and look at the imagery of the symbols and like just how they sort of like interact with one another as the whole thing's laid out. Like that's another thing that I love about the photos of the pictures as a whole, because they tell a story when you look at them interacting together and in context and juxtaposition to one another. Particularly the elements that I use in my photos, they become like another layer of the oracle. Just like the messages, like I'm not sitting here thinking about the messages that come through when I write or even when I talk. I just start and it's automatic, like automatic writing, and I don't filter myself. And I don't edit very much either. I might like make sure the spelling is right and everything in the grammar, but like I don't change anything. Same with the artwork. Whatever I choose to do with the photo for the day, it's like I'm being led based on, there's like really loud helicopters outside. Whatever I choose for the photo today, the image, it like comes to me in like an instinctual, intuitive way. Like I'll be like, oh, something will tell me to go look at a certain book that I have and open it up and use that page. Or looking at the page, something doesn't feel right, and so I'll find another piece of page and that'll feel right, and then like later I'll look at the text and I'll be like, oh my god, it was so on point. Or like the images behind the images, it creates all one big kind of idea, or the trinkets and the symbols. And so sometimes like I'm guided to use these things and I don't even see till later. There's so many layers upon layers of things going on, you know, within everything. So I got off on a tangent there. Okay, so we started with centering. And underneath it was Ace of Swords. So centering, I love how she's sitting here balanced in her frame. That to me highlights how we have been able to refocus our attention into recalibrating ourselves and ridding ourselves of the influence of other people's expectations and energy. And now we're prioritizing ourselves and our goals and our well-being in such a way that we honor the fact that we're the only person who ever has to live our life, right? We're not becoming self-absorbed narcissists who only think about ourselves and push everybody out. We're just more balanced now, right? To have boundaries, to know where we end and other people begin, right? And so we're now able to know who we are, right? Without that influence and that pressure from others. We can be authentic in ourselves. We can have boundaries. We can set our energy and our focus on what we intend to do with it. Like, we've developed that kind of self-control and discipline and practice. And so we've also gone through such an incredible time of transformation and change. All this darkness and uncertainty around her. And she's safe within these, the borders, the boundaries, the structures, the practice of restriction, right? That's our ability to pause and examine, how is our body wanting to react to pacify its base needs and wants, right? How are we sort of being subservient to this lower base body consciousness, trying to reach for instant gratification, trying to reach for temporary pleasure and fulfillment at the expense of our long-term goals and values, right? How are we rising above that body consciousness and transcending those ego levels, those animalistic levels, and ascending in our more divine human nature? Or ascending, I didn't say that. There's tiger lilies here. I feel like that is about like purity and rebirth, maybe. And she has wings like a butterfly, symbolizing her transformation. Her translucent gown is like this thin veil that she holds that drapes around her loosely, meaning that she's not attached to the material expression of her identity, right? It's not who she really is. This vessel is temporary. It's ephemeral. It's a vapor. It comes and goes very quickly, very easily. So we've come through this portal of transformation, tribulation that has led to revelation, and rebirth, death and rebirth. And so now we have a framework for the new self that we are becoming. One that has more self-control, that restriction we're talking about, that allows for you to even start to be able to act from a place of free will, right? Using your intention to actually co-create a life that you dream of living with divine, and not just reacting to, the circumstances and changing circumstances of life and winds of change. You're solid and secure, and you have a framework for how you approach life, for how you meet life's challenges, right? You don't go on the ebbs and flows of your, mood or mindset of the day. You found a way to be consistent. So this new structure, you're starting to embody it, right? And it starts at the seed level, right? Which is your mindset. Everything that we have in the material world, every experience, every possession, everything that we have, every manifestation, right? Every relationship, everything that we put our hand to as far as our labor, our efforts, our toil, our goals, our gardens, everything that we create is flavored by what it was planted with at a seed level. Where was our consciousness at in the inception of this, when we took action, when we got the idea? Because whatever energetic state you're in when you start to move forward and put your hand to an effort, when you plant the seed, when you start to make the cake, that vibration, that state of being, that consciousness is going to be within that thing. So if you're doing it from a place of reaction, if you're doing it from a place of neediness, if you're doing it from a place of thirst, hunger, worry, scarcity, anxiety, lust, too much excitement. Like, if you don't have your wherewithal when you take the action, then it has like this potential for chaos, and it's not going to go well because the seed is infected with fear, lack, and doubt and reactivity. It wasn't planted with certainty, with free will, with a pure and conscious intention that was not wishy-washy or indecisive, but one track, you know? And so when we plant seeds, we need to do so from a place of positive expectancy, confidence, faith, certainty. It's a done deal. If it's not, then it was never for me anyway. So I'm certain that the Creator's got all this under control. There's nothing in me that worries that this can't happen or thinks that I don't deserve it or that it's not possible. So everything starts at a seed level. So be careful about where your consciousness is at when you put energy into motion. I also like that this card has the ammonite on the head. This is the Ace of Swords. This is a new mindset, a new perception. You know what's funny is that I have an ammonite in my pocket. Ammonites are really good for going back to your deep subconscious patterns and cleansing the energy. They create a vortex. So they're purifying. They can also go into, like, because they're so old, they're like ancient. They go back deep into your DNA, deep into those roots for healing, that ancestral healing, that family healing, those sins of the generation. It breaks, right? When we figure out what our family patterns are that get passed down, we decide to break those, and we stop a curse in our family, and we stop it from going on for generations and generations. We could be the chosen one to stop something, a curse that's been hanging over our family for 1,000 years. All you have to do is show up, like, just show up and do this work, and don't continue down the same roads to repeat the same fate, right? To have the same relationship dynamics, to have the same pitfalls in your goals and your aspirations, right? So we're overcoming these tendencies, and we have a new mindset and a new outlook and a new perspective. And we're learning how to ground this new energy, this new mindset, all of this new wisdom, the wisdom of the experience that we've walked through up until now in our lives. It's like now we're really all of a sudden able to put all the pieces together and actually embody it and execute it and try to do things differently moving forward and have yourself on a trajectory for a new story. You can decide the story that you want to live in now, the character that you want to show it up as, the characters that you want in and out of your life. What kind of story do you want to be in? Because we have a chance to write that now. Write it with fresh ideas. Write it with a new take on the characters, right? On a new cast. It's sort of like American Horror Story, how it's like we have the similar actors, same characters, or not same characters, different characters, same actors, maybe same players, different situations, right? Followed by celebration. So having come this far and feeling more grounded and centered, now we're in a time where we need to get our juices flowing. We need to celebrate how far we've come. We need to celebrate where we've been and what it took to get us here. We need to celebrate the fact that we've been able to embrace our uniqueness and the unique gifts that we bring to the world. And we are proud of the fact that we have now grown to have that self-esteem and that masculine self-worth that allows us to march to the beat of our own drum, but do it passionately, right? And so all of this new excitement and the celebrating, and we want to stay in the state of joy, of celebration, of going forward, pursuing our goals and dreams from a state of joyfulness, of play, of fun, because that is super magnetic to the universe, and it puts you in a state of ease and flow and harmony. keeps your heart open, right? And if your heart is open, then you're magnetic to receive. If your heart is shut off, then you are repellent and you are not magnetic to receive. So we want to be in a state of celebration and gratitude and joy, and keep declaring all these wonderful things that are happening, and keep continuing to declare that they are, because you're calling them into your life, because you're declaring that you already have faith that they're there, and you're already celebrating their arrival. You're already living the life that you dream of, right? See the way that you're doing that and create ways to do that at different levels, right? Figure out ways to express that dream life and to put yourself in the feeling state of that dream life when you're on the way there. You know, be it small ways or whatever. But let that excitement and that devotion fuel your fire. You are out there beating your drum, but in a good way, because you are going at it wholeheartedly. Full commitment, full devotion, right? When we talk about the different phases of creation, what gets us through past the honeymoon phase, through that challenging lull of just like being in the grind, is staying connected to our why, right? The deeper why, the deeper meaning behind what we're doing, the reason why we have a sense of purpose when we put our hand to this kind of effort, the thing that keeps us going, and all the things that we really appreciate about this. Because at every point in every person's journey, when they set out to do something, they're going to be challenged. They're going to be tested. We think, because of the way that we were programmed growing up, that when we meet challenges and tests, that it's a sign that what we're doing is down a dark path and that it's the wrong path for us. But what if you were aware of the fact that your opponent was going to challenge you and throw shit on your path and obstacles trying to detract you from what what your heart is sending you towards, right? So what if that opponent was following orders from the Creator to be a piece of shit and to be your antagonist for your whole life, so that every day you have to choose to be the person who chooses the Creator, who chooses the path of light, who doesn't just fall back into the laziness of it's easier to just go the way of the shadow, right? You have to push through, you have to persevere, you have to have faith. If you are going on a very dark road that is wrong for you, I think it will be made known in such a way that is undeniable, because heaven will want to stop you. But just keep in mind that you're dealing with an opponent who knows how to use the people around you to press your buttons and to test you by saying the things that are going to trigger you the most, that are going to make you want to question yourself. So the only thing you can really trust is your deepest, most quiet, loving, solid, eternal, unchanging truth from within. You can't trust other people. They have agendas. They have their own limitations. They have their own projections. You have to learn how to tune in to your own instincts, into your own intuition. And then from there, do everything you can to keep that willpower and that drive and that determination and that perseverance on fire to push through the obstacles. We've been listening to our divine guidance. When we listen, we receive. In general, vibrationally speaking, we can't be in a masculine state of giving and sharing at the same time as we're in a feminine state of passivity and receiving. So when I'm looking at the context of this, I feel that it's talking about, as we prepare our vessel, our life, our mindset, our ability to live the life we want to live and do the things that are required to make that happen and to sustain it. As we prepare ourselves to be able to receive these things, we're also being good vessels by listening. We're learning to tune in to that higher divine guidance from within, from a peaceful state of rest and peace and serenity. And it's only when we get to a real peace and a certainty and a calm that we're neutral enough to hear the truth coming through, right? Otherwise, it's like coming through chatter of fear, of desperation, of scarcity, of anxiety. So get to a quiet state of inner peace and certainty that the light, the creator, is always with you, that it's up to you to connect. And then let go and just let your mind quiet, and don't force it. Just let it all settle itself out. Give yourself time and space to do this. I love going on long, extended walks through the woods just to empty my mind, just to let my mind wander and allow myself to just kind of fall into a trance as I walk the labyrinths back there, and reflect and see where my mind, see where spirit is shifting my focus, where I'm being led. And I like to pray out loud while I'm out there and ask for guidance. So we've been listening, and we've been learning how to better use our listening tools. And because of this is the feminine representation of the King of Pentacles. So this King of Pentacles has transcended the material level of understanding and consciousness, where we see a material problem and we come at it with a material solution, right? The King of Pentacles is sometimes too literal. They're too stuck in like the 3D, the material. They sometimes have problems having faith, right? Because they want the facts, right? They don't believe in this hoodoo, woo-woo, intuitive malarkey, right? But the feminine king has transcended that, and she's holding this golden fan in front of her heart, and she's surrounded by these golden flowers, which signify her inner authority and her connection to that divine guidance and that divine higher power, and how it is giving her this almost like royal-like sense of leadership over her life, right? She's been anointed the king of her kingdom, but in a feminine way, meaning she can receive guidance and have the faith and confidence in that intuition to follow, right? To be able to be directed, to be a tool for good, to be a tool for the higher power, right? That's what the royalty, that's what the king and queen are. They're the third person, because it's not just them. There's another higher version of themselves, like the oversoul of the person, that is a complete tool and channel of the divine, right? Or supposed to be. And so we can all be a king and queen within our life. It's part of our archetypal journey, you know? So this queen, I love how her crown is like a castle up in her hair. It's like her tiara is a castle. It's like her plans and her dreams of her future and her future kingdom that she plans to build and reign over, right? She has the clear vision. It's all right there in her head. As good as being like, as detailed as if you could reach out and touch it, right? So she's crowned with her goals and her dreams, and she's being guided by spirit on the divine path of the unfoldment of that destiny. And because of this, we are opening ourselves up to a world of abundance, to receive abundance. And with the Seven of Wands, we're overcoming our blocks to love and abundance. The Seven of Wands, I love how this guy's like breaking through the bars that kept him chained and caged and held back. He's breaking through those limitations. And I love that one of his tattoos says love. It's like, what has been holding him back from love, from abundance, from fulfillment, from forward progress, right? It's those subconscious patterns, those old programs from early in childhood of these moments that we misinterpreted, right? They gave us this subconscious low self-worth that we haven't been aware of. So we're overcoming all these things. We're becoming aware of these patterns. We're becoming aware of these limiting beliefs. We're becoming aware of hidden conflicting desires, right? And so we're bringing it all out in the open, and we're finally figuring out what has been blocking our Venus all this time. Venus rules love, money, abundance, security, the feeling of beauty and fulfillment and sensual pleasure in your life, right? Being surrounded by people and things that you love, that fill you up with love, that ignite your heart, right? Creativity, there's like something about that it's your imagination is very connected to your sacral chakra, but your creativity is really super connected to your heart chakra. And beauty feeds that, right? And that's one of the themes of Venus, whether it be beauty with food or sounds like beautiful music or smells or sights, artwork, just color palettes that bring you pleasure. I know I'm a Venus ruled person. I have tons of Venus in my chart. I'm Libra rising. I've got like Taurus placements everywhere, and like I'm obsessed with like color palettes and like this aqua blue color next to this like golden brown brings me so much joy, almost more than like an expensive purchase, right? So it's also what I mean by getting in a state of what you want to feel like in small ways, right? You don't have to have $10,000 shopping spree. You can just go out and buy yourself like a really nice candle, and maybe treat yourself to like a fun dessert that night and a bottle of wine. You can do small things that feel really in love with life, right? And bring your senses alive and feel abundant and feel in love and inspired and joyful and nurtured and enticed. And so we're overcoming what's been holding us back, and we're becoming very aware of what's been blocking us, and now we're able to unblock that so that we can have we can open up space for love and abundance to come in a very solid and secure, but also very exciting and enticing kind of way. All right, but we have to be willing to hold that space open for something that truly aligns like to come in. So that means that we're going to probably be tested with things that are closed but no dice. And so you have to be willing and strong enough to walk away from things that are closed but no dice. And what that is going to look like is being able to stay in your frame. And like, this is my dance space, that is your dance space. So as you're getting to know people or letting people in closer, you're doing that very gradually, and you're not over investing in them or like giving them more than they've earned over time, right? You need to get to know people before you start giving them all of your time and attention and resources, right? Because you need to be conscious of how you're directing those, because you respect yourself and you respect your time. And when you respect yourself and you respect your time and you respect your space and your energy, then others will too. All right, you guys. Well, I am going to actually film some more of our 2023 predictions. I'm going to do September and October. So we have through August uploaded now, and it's a very helpful playlist. I have it set aside on the channel as 2023 predictions. The first of the videos is an overall look at the whole year, and there are some really helpful spiritual tips and tricks and practical exercises and things you can help workshop you that you will be game changers to use throughout the year. And then I found that it's really helpful to just go month by month and look ahead. I've been doing this for myself for a few years to just see what the themes are and look at it like almost like a story outline for the whole year. And it gives me some kind of idea of where I should be focusing my spiritual growth, or what kind of themes that I might be coming up against as the year goes on. So then I started making the videos for you guys, and I am almost done uploading those. So they've been very helpful to me, so hopefully they will be to you too. All right, y'all. Well, I will see y'all tomorrow. Ciao.